Basketball fans, welcome into Raptors. Today we got Sherman Hamilton and his best friend Ashley docking it now. Sorry, my bad, Sherman, my bad. I didn't mean to go
That's how we're starting.
Sorry.
So that's how we're starting.
That's how we're starting. Raptors brand basketball on a non-traditional off day for the Toronto Raptors. Instead of a normal practice, head coach Darko held his very first Raptors open house, the annual give back from the Toronto Raptors basketball community to the Toronto community, allowing coaches to come in. And with that, I think we should talk about Darko's tenure. At this point in the year, producer Jake was mentioning he's kind of had like three different teams, right? There was the camp team that came in with OG and the guys, Pascal. Then there was the post-trade team with BBQ. And now this hodgepodge with a lot of the key players injured. So we want to get your assessment of the job that Coach Darko has done. Sherm, starting with you.
Yeah, I think he's had a lot thrown at him this season. And I would argue that he's done a very good job. I mean, it kind of had a 905 feel to it, a G League feel where you've got all these moving parts and you just got to, as a head coach, continue to keep it together in some way. And, he went from a pretty veteran team to a team that became very not veteran to a team that became injured, and now you don't have a lot of your stars. And it's like he's still getting these guys to play motivated basketball. You can see that they're playing for each other. And you understand, too, that he's created this understanding of if you do what you're supposed to do, you're going to get the minutes. And that keeps guys engaged. And I think he's done a great job. And, you watch him after timeouts, calls that he makes during the game, usage of timeouts is very crucial. I think he's really balancing everything that's been thrown at him on a very, very good level.
Yeah, certainly on hairline watch for sure. As we, that's just a part of the job, it feels like, with these coaches, right? It's so stressful. And I think you nailed it. There's just been so much thrown at him. But I really do love the fact that he's been able to get players that he really doesn't know that well and hasn't gotten a lot of time to get to know, playing for him, or at least playing for each other. And I think that speaks to the culture. I think that speaks to his enthusiasm. I think it speaks to his nature as well. It's not an easy thing to do. And again, on top of having to run the systems that are in place or adapt them on the fly, also having to investigate the players that he has. What can you do besides what I know about you?
Audition season.
Exactly. How can I get more out of you? Or we have a role to fill. Who's going to step up in this moment? And to your point about it having a G League feel, I think in a lot of ways too, it's like for some of these players, where am I going to go next potentially? And what's that going to look like? Because if I'm sitting here with bad body language and I'm sitting here not trying and I'm sitting here hanging my teammates out to dry, why would this team want me? Why would another team want me? So he's done a really, really good job of maybe making people see the bigger picture and buying in.
One thing I've thought that Darko had to do during this phase was he was going to have to teach habits. Really hold guys accountable, keep them in line, and understand that there's responsibility, and with responsibility comes accountability. And I think he's doing a very good job of getting these guys to understand that the bad habits are not going to be tolerated. It's about creating consistent good habits both on and off the floor. And sometimes that's the hardest thing to teach young men, but I think he's doing a very good job of that.
So to follow up on that point, do you think we know what a Darko-led team looks like? Or do we have to wait and be more patient because he's had to do so much foundational work in establishing what the culture and the workplace environment has to be like?
Yeah, I think you could kind of parallel this to Grady Dick. Grady Dick came in as the draft pick and was supposed to be something that people thought he was supposed to be. He went to the G League. It didn't work out. He came back up, and now we're seeing a different version of him, a better version. I don't think Darko has had the opportunity to really implement what he needs to do with a roster, with the kind of consistency and continuity that he wants. So I still would give him the benefit of the doubt and say when he gets to next season, has a full training camp, has a roster and healthy guys, we'll get a better feel of him on that level. But right now we're getting a very clear understanding of a guy who can motivate, a guy who stays positive. He can kind of roll with the punches as they're thrown at him, and he's adjusting on the fly. So there's a lot of positives, I feel.
And he'll go to bat for his guys.
Absolutely.
That's such a big one, I think, because we know there are some coaches that are shady boots out there.
Okay,
and whether or not they're saying it directly about a player that needs to step up or needs to change one thing or the other, they are making those comments and they're alluding to something. And some coaches just say it outright. And some coaches don't say it. Well, some coaches, we have seen it here a couple times. Some coaches don't say it in a way that's almost like, constructive criticism. Sometimes they're just like flat out, it wasn't good enough, they need to be better. And now it's like, is there a rift? Now the media is talking, now there's speculation. And so I think that that's not in his bag, that's not in his wheelhouse. But in particular, even if it is at times, knowing that now is not the moment for that, because you don't need that infighting or that rift when things are already tough enough. I think that is what we learned about him as a coach.
Well, we're going to be learning a lot more from head coach Darko. Let's see what we can learn right now.
Bit of a different experience here. What was it like doing your first coach's open house for the Raptors?
It was great. First of all, great to see all the coaches and fans coming in and showing a lot of interest in our program. I thought that coaches did a really good job of presenting some of the stuff that we're doing offensively, defensively, but it was also very cool to hear coaches to ask really good questions, and we're really looking forward to continue to build this experience for our coaches and for our fan base, and we already have some very interesting ideas and plans for the future that we're going to share with you at a later point, but it's going to continue to grow.
We saw Scotty, Yak, and Chris all around the court participating as best they could. How important is it to have the injured players at practice and participating in whatever way they can?
I think it's paramount. I think it's very important, first of all, for them to be around the team. Scotty is our team leader. He can always be there and help with his voice. And, even he's 22, he's still very capable to help our guys and give them, encouragement and instruction or whatever it might be. And then for Yak and CB as veterans, it's very important for them to help other guys. But also I think it's very important for them to feel that they're still part of the team. They're not separated. They're not away, like they're there with us, and everything that we're teaching and coaching and trying to improve, they'll be able to hear, and it's going to speed up their process of coming back.
Thanks for watching the Toronto Raptors YouTube channel. Check out our latest videos and subscribe for more.
Trent answers back. Gary sidestep. Got it.